My name is Justin Sturm. I am P4G's acting partnership origination manager. Since 2018, P4G has looked to support multi-stakeholder partnerships focused on delivering the sustainable development goals in P4G partner countries through catalytic funding of up to $1 million and support through our accelerational services. P4G focuses on 5 of the Sustainable Development Goals: SDG 2, Zero Hunger; SDG 6, Clean Water and Sanitation; SDG 7, Affordable and Clean Energy; SDG 11, Sustainable Cities; and then SDG 12, Circular Economy. P4G is made up of 12 partner countries, 8 of which are ODA eligible and P4G partnerships implement in. These 8 countries are Mexico and Colombia in Latin America, Ethiopia, Kenya, and South Africa in Africa, and Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Indonesia in Asia. Chile, the Netherlands, Denmark, and the Republic of Korea are also P4G countries, but P4G partnerships do not implement in these 4 countries. In each P4G country, we have what we call a national platform, which are representatives from the host country government who look to support and scale P4G partnerships through sharing with us their country priorities, but then also looking to engage with these partnerships to scale their solutions. In addition, P4G includes C40 cities, GGGI, the IFC, the World Economic Forum, and the World Resources Institute as our official partner organizations. Through our catalytic funding, which often is between up to 200 to 500,000 US dollars, but can be up to $1 million US dollars. We have supported over 70 market-based partnerships. These 70 partnerships have been able to leverage 270 million US dollars of co-investment from outside institutions and have been able to affect over 2 million people in P4G partner countries and mitigate or reduce 428,000 metric tons of annual CO2 emissions. Looking at the 22 selection process, I just want to walk you a little bit through both what we're looking for and how this year's process will work. P4G partnerships look for 6 eligibility criteria. First, they need to be focused on 5 of the Sustainable Development Goals I just discussed: SDG 2, 6, 7, 11, or 12. Similarly, P4G partnerships need to be working in one of the 8 partnership countries that I just mentioned: Mexico, Colombia, Ethiopia, Kenya, South Africa, or in Asia, Indonesia, Bangladesh, and Vietnam. In addition, P4G partnerships need to be at the correct stage. They need to be what we would consider either a startup or a scale-up. That means that research, ideas, or early pilot stages without any track record are too early. But similarly, the ability to attract massive amounts of commercial investment already may mean that you're too far advanced for a P4G partnership. So we really look for that sweet spot. In addition, a P4G partnership is multi-stakeholder. It needs to include at least 1 commercial entity and 1 NGO or non-government organization partner. P4G partnerships can be larger than just these 2 and can include multiple commercial partners, multiple NGO partners, government partners, or university partners, but at the very least need to include these 2 partners, 1 from the commercial and 1 from the non-commercial sectors. In addition, a P4G partnership needs to be innovative. It needs to be different than what's happening in the market and provide an opportunity to really change and scale in a way that redefines the market. There's a lot of initiatives supporting a lot of really great work out there, but we really look for what is innovative and game-changing. And then finally, we look for a clear path for commercial viability. We do not want partnerships who are looking to move from one grant to the next grant to the next grant, but really use P4G funding as catalytic to grow and at the end of a 2-year cycle, or potentially 3 years, really be able to attract commercial investment or blended finance in order to escape from the grant funding cycle. For partnerships that meet these 6 eligibility, We score them and compare them based on this evaluation criteria. First is we look at this business plan. We see how clear is the path to financial sustainability, and how can P4G support achievement of that. Second, we look for a clear market understanding, and this is something that both the NGO and commercial partner can really support. But are they based in the local market? Do they understand the laws, regulations, and what is happening in that local market? And do they have a vision for how to impact it so that their own model may be able to scale? Third, we look for how much of an SDG impact are you able to have? Given we're all trying to achieve the SDGs by 2030, the amount of work that needs to be done calls for partnerships that are able to achieve tangible results and at scale. Fourth is that we look for alignment with our target areas within each country. Working from Indonesia to Kenya to Colombia, each country has massively different market. Each country's governments have different priorities. And so we look to align with our national platforms to define what are their focus areas, how can P4G help them achieve it, and do these partnerships align with those targets. Fifth is we get to know the leadership team. We want to know who's driving this, what is their experience, what is their mission in completing this work, and are they the right people to take this work forward and scale it. And then finally, later on in the selection process, we look at the specifics of the work plan, the goals, and the risks that the partnership are taking on and looking to mitigate to understand the nitty-gritty of if the partnership have what it takes to achieve their targets. For the partnerships who are able to meet this eligibility criteria, blow us out of the water with the evaluation criteria, and become P4G partnerships, we look to support our partnerships in a variety of ways. The first, which I've already spoken about, is through Catalytic Funding. Well, it may be up to $1 million. More often than not, P4G partnerships are granted between 200 and 500,000 US dollars for 1 to 2 year partnerships. Second, we look to co-create and co-invest with you. That means working with you to build a partnership that may need to expand to include new partners or engage with new stakeholders via the P4G network in order to achieve your goals. The P4G team provides strategic leadership and commercial advice to allow the partnership to move from that grant funding to the point where it's able to have a strong business case and attract commercial investment. When the partnership are there, we can then leverage our network to connect you either with a host of investors who can more directly provide that next level of funding, or the policymakers who may be relevant to amend regulation and have conversation around how to create a better enabling environment to allow your solution to scale. Next, P4G know partnerships, and we know that the partnership governance is an essential part of success. So we'll work with you at the beginning and throughout the partnership to ensure that each partner has a strong and clearly defined role in this providing their unique value add, which is essential to make the partnership successful. And then finally, through our network and through global events from COP to the UN General Assembly and more specifically tailored events, we're able to shine a spotlight on your success and connect you with additional stakeholders and investors who may be able to help your business in a variety of ways. In addition, we connect you with other P4G partnerships who are working on similar solutions, both to allow you to share your model, but then also to work through common challenges with like-minded partners. Speaking of this year's selection process, P4G have 2 rounds of funding selection in 2022. Our call for partnerships is always open, which means that when your concept note is ready, we encourage you to go on our website and apply at any time of the year. That said, there are specific deadlines which should be met in order to have funding considered and potentially awarded by a specific date. The next round will close by March 11th, at which point we will look at all the concept notes that have been submitted at that time. So once those concept notes have come in on March 11th, we will review them based on the eligibility and evaluation criteria, which we just spoke about. The most prospective partnerships will be will be asked to provide additional material, including a more developed work plan, budget, as well as a full business plan. We will then work with you over a month as an applicant to co-create together a partnership that is as strong as possible. From this process, the most prospective applicants will be asked to submit final materials as well as attend a final pitch, both with P4G leadership team as well as with third-party external advisors. The most prospective applicants from this stage, from the final pitch, will be moved to the final evaluation and likely approved for funding. This funding will be, for those approved, begin to actually function in either late July or early August. And so for the partnerships who are submitting by March, it's a 3 to 5 month application process. For partnerships who may not be ready yet to submit by March 11th, that's okay. We're accepting applicants throughout the year, and we will begin to look at the next round of applicants likely in early August. So if all of that information makes sense and seems to align with your goals and your potential to scale, I have a couple of tips for prospective applicants. The first is that the most successful applicants really start with that clear business plan. You have a clear idea of how to go from where you are and potentially needing grant funding to being able to actually scale via commercial investment. And you have an idea of how P4G can help you get there. You have a resilient, innovative, and entrepreneur-focused team. So even if you're an NGO, you have that experience in working with the private sector and focus on promoting entrepreneurs. You're looking to move from that grant cycle to either blended finance or commercial investment. And so while P4G funding is essential at the moment, you're really looking to scale outside of traditional grant funding. And then finally, you have a good understanding of the market in which the P4G partnership exists, and you have a clear vision for how your partnership, working with other stakeholders, may be able to influence and improve that environment. Now, just a couple key points on both the NGO and commercial partners, what we've seen work well in the past and what hasn't worked as well. The best NGO partners are already on the ground and have a proven track record delivering results. They're not as focused on simply using P4G funding to support traditional ODA activities, from community development to the purchase of equipment, but are really looking to advance commercially viable solutions, even if they themselves are grant-based. Similarly, the commercial partner has that on-the-ground experience. They have that proven track record to a degree and have proven results. They have a model that, while maybe young, can be scaled to a point where it is financially sustainable. They're not focused on more traditional ODA-focused activities of technical assistance, of purchasing of equipment or community development, but are really at their core focused on that model that has sustainability and social impact, but also has the potential to be financially sustainable. Specifically within the food and agriculture sector, we look at a variety of things. Really, we look at how is this model supporting smallholder farmers? And how is it either linking them with larger markets in a way that improves their own profit? Or how is the model providing a value addition to those smallholder farmers in a way that, again, allows them to improve their income? Under models that bring in elements of sustainability and social impact. In addition, we look at partnerships that are focused on reforestation or nature-based solutions with strong elements of agroforestry. Running slightly low on time, but just briefly to touch on a few of what we've seen be successful P4G partnerships in the past. The Flawless Partnership working in Mexico, South Africa, and Indonesia is focused on tackling the issue and the potential of food loss and waste and how to monetize that and induce commercial investment into scaling a solution. The second, Plus, looks via a crowdfunding platform to connect retail investors in European markets with small and medium-sized agribusinesses in multiple P4G countries. And the third, Soko Link, is a platform which looks to use cold hub solutions to improve the income of smallholder farmers in rural Kenya. For more information of any of these or any P4G partnerships, please visit our website. And then finally, I just want to talk briefly about the state of the art. This is a slightly different application, which P4G also supports. The State of the Art Award is not an award or an application for direct funding, but is instead an opportunity for us to spotlight some of the best partnerships globally. So this is open to partnerships working in our 5 SDG focus areas in any country, not just P4G countries. And previous winners have been spotlighted at global events and have had the opportunity to engage with investors, policymakers, and others who are able to move forward their model. It's been a great opportunity for those in the past also to begin a relationship with P4G, which has at times led to successful P4G applications and partnerships. The application for this is July 31st, and we encourage you to go on our website to learn more. Now, if you're considering a P4G partnership application for the March 11th deadline, we highly encourage you to get in contact with us ahead of time to have an informal conversation to better understand each other's model. If you have just a brief one-page summary of your concept, that's a great place to start. You're more than welcome to connect with myself, Justin Sturm, based out of Nairobi, Kenya, but you're also welcome to reach out to any of the people here. Antona Mezarekola, our Africa Regional Manager based out of Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Eve Karubo, our Africa Country Manager based in Nairobi, Kenya with myself. Or Sangeeta Sarma, our Head of Communication based in Washington, DC. We look forward to talking with any of you, but now I'd like to open the floor to questions.
Thank you so much, Justin. It was great. And I really feel like some of the people here that I know enough about, I think it's a great match and a real opportunity. So let me be the kind of moderator here of fielding some questions. And I suggest two channels for doing that. Either just put your hand up and I'll see if, so there's a little button down at the bottom of your screen next to reactions. If you click on that, there's a kind of raise your hand option. So feel free to do that. Or if you've got a specific question, you can just type it in the chat. That will allow me to kind of have a look. And if there's questions that seem like they're in order and particularly relevant to where we are, I'll pull those in. So Christian, saw your hand shoot up first. What's your question? And actually, and give us a 30-second introduction to your business, just to remind us what you're up to.
Yeah, so we're alleviating the pressure from wild-caught fish and doing some community-based insect farming around Kenya. And my question is, I heard you said you were working with EcoDudu. So does that set aside anybody who may be in a similar field for the grant and for the application base?
That was just me. I'm the middleman here. So yes, it was a previous project that I was involved with called Generation Africa, where EcoDudu were some of the winners.
Right.
So
okay.
yeah, so Justin will be new, I imagine, to EcoDudu.
Right.
Yes, not heard of it in the past.
Liesel, and tell me how to pronounce your name, Liesel. Your hand was up next.
It's Liesel, thanks.
Liesel, there we go.
Hi, Justin. Thanks, Ian, for the platform. And hi, Justin. We've briefly met before in terms of ActKit, which came out of the Food Systems Game Changers Lab, and is not really appropriate for this because it's still in early stages. But I wanted to ask in terms of agri-water, firstly, it's a nature-based technology, so not a nature-based solution. So it tends to fall within the cracks. And then if I look at your priorities for agriculture, I was curious that there's no mention of water. And I just wanted to get your take on that, because we use water as an agent for accelerated regeneration of soil health, but it also has a massive impact on water efficiency and water quality. with associated positive outcomes in plant growth and yield, etc., etc. So just there's lots of benefits to it, and I'm just not sure if it would fit within your priorities.
Yes, certainly. Well, as I mentioned earlier, we work along 5 of the Sustainable Development Goals, one of which is water and sanitation. And so obviously these 5 focus areas are not siloed to themselves, but are, as you said, very much overlapping, where water relates to agriculture, energy relates to water and agriculture. There's massive overlap. And so it's certainly within our priority focus. And I would say that when it comes to innovative technologies, we don't like to take the risk on the technology itself. And so if the technology has been proven, maybe not in that specific geography, but more so has been shown to be successful, then that's something that we can look for. We don't want to be piloting or testing brand new technologies, but the adaptation and bringing in of a new technology based on an innovative business model is something that we could explore.
Great, thanks, Justin. Judith, you've got your hands up.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the presentation. It was very interesting. My question to you is, do you work with small organizations that may not have quite reached where the bar for applying, and kind of mentoring them so that they're then able to apply? Or what kind of resources would you have for such an organization? I am director and co-founder of Better Gem, but can also be pronounced Better Gem. And we focus on environmentally friendly and sustainable practice to grow ginger and turmeric. And our vision is to go beyond the primary production to value addition, and also engaging the community around so that we can wean them off the traditional subsistence kind of farming so that they're able to get a better income.
Yeah, certainly. And thank you, Judith, for the question and for attending today. In terms of how we can work with those who are maybe not yet at that stage, we're happy to have informal conversations about what may be your vision and what may be needed to get to that step. I think this is also a place where the partnership can be incredibly valuable, where if your particular organization may be still missing certain aspects of the whole picture, that you can partner with some of those other organizations who may be more along that path in areas that you're lacking. So, within a more in-depth conversation, it's easier to understand where your business may or may not be. But I think really just starting with that innovative business model that may be different from what's out there, and having that vision is really the core of where to start.
And Judith, just to add in there, I think there may be other programs that might be a better fit in your stage. Like what I'm witnessing in the kind of broader landscape is that each program is targeting people at different places. So, I just posted something about the Tony Elumelu Foundation's work with African entrepreneurs. And that might be a better fit for your stage in your journey that would take you to the point where something like P4G that's lifting you to the next level would then, be ready to pick up. So it's keep an eye out for other things as well. Right, anybody else got any questions for Justin?
Yes, sir. Please. Please, can I have
Sure, yeah. If you want to go ahead and take a moment, Suzanne.
Yes, thank you very much for your allow it for me this chance. This money not in it as money, but in investment in people around these countries. Poor people need contact, good contact. People in these countries, good contact to know about how we active with money and how we investment in these countries.
Okay, thank you.
not give me fish, but you learn me as a job.
Okay, thanks, Suzanne. And I can see Gagan as well here. He's asked a different question as well, which is just whether you've got a contact for Mexico. I know Gagan has yeah, Javier's put his thumbs up for that too. Is there a specific person as a country contact for Mexico, Justin?
Yes, certainly. So I'll just put it in the chat. It's Dan Mejia, our regional manager for the Latin America region. He's based in Washington, D.C., not Mexico, but he is certainly your point person for getting in touch with.
Super. Well, anybody else got any questions for Justin before we wrap up?
And I'll also put my email in the chat, so feel free to reach out with any future questions you may have, either prior to the March 11th deadline or any future deadlines once your individual concept is ready.
Okay. There's a question about Nigeria, but I don't think Nigeria is one of your countries, is it, Justin?
No, unfortunately not yet. Maybe sometime in the future, but at present, P4G within Africa only work in Ethiopia, South Africa, and Kenya.
Okay. Whenever I post anything that doesn't include Nigeria, all the Nigerians in the Good Food Hub, they're all like, "Come on, Nigeria, let's go." They're the most, I think, they're most enthusiastic Good Food Hub members championing getting things right in Nigeria, which is great. So thank you, Moses. All right. Well, you're all busy people. It's been great to have Justin share this. I do think there's some great businesses there. I'm very curious whether some of you go to the next stage in this process. Actually, that's a good question. Is anybody here thinking they're actually going to proceed to the next stage or might do? Yeah, look, well, we've got some nodding heads there. Okay. All right. Well, that's good news. And so, Justin, look out for your good food friends here. We'll hopefully shepherd our way through to some investments. But yeah, everybody can get back to their business. And thanks so much, everybody, for turning up. We'll post this online for other people to have a look at. Actually, Justin, it'd be great to get your presentation. That's a nice way for people to click through that as well. That was very clear. Any final comments from you, Justin?
No, just thank you everyone for attending. It looks as if there's quite a few ideas that are interesting in P4G countries. And so I look forward to potentially working with some of you in the future. Please feel free to reach out with anything.
Super. All right. Thanks, Gan. We'll see you all soon.
Bye, everybody.